Hi there. My name is Chitra Radhakrishnan, and I am a born and bred Singaporean. Very interestingly, I do hail from a long lineage of Tamil ancestry, and may I also add, also a strong lineage of women, right, who have made their mark. Very interestingly, and I just discovered this, right, in terms of a point of interest, that the women in my family, my ancestors, they also came out from India, not just the men. So, when you look at the different families and how they came out, typically, it's the men who came by themselves, but in my case, the women also came. And they came and they stayed, yeah? And they made a difference. They set up their families and, provided that strength for the families to exist and to thrive. The female ancestor who came down on my father's side is Valliammal, and the female ancestor who came down on my mother's side is Veerayammal. These ladies were very strong women. I mean, can you imagine, they left their homes, what they were comfortable with, what they knew, to set up home here in Singapore. When they came out here, it was a strange land. There were hardly any other Tamil-speaking people, if you think about it. But these ladies made a go of it, and they were successful. Right? They had established their families very strongly. They had many children, and each of them, moved on to get married and set up their own lives as well. So we owe a lot to them. So if I take the case of my father's side, right, his grandmother, her name is Parvati Ammal, and her daughter is Anjali Ammal. But Parvati Ammal, she was a strong lady. Yeah, she was, I would say, a true matriarch in every sense of the word, and she had very strong principles, and she was very courageous, and that helped us a lot because my father lost his parents at a young age. I mean, he was a teenager, but he was still in school at that time, and it was his grandmother, Parvati Ammal, together with a couple of other sons who helped bring up the family. And they established, a good system for the kids to study, finish their studies, and move on to working. It was a tough existence, I would say. My father was able to go on to college, university, but he had to go and work instead. But because of his grandmother's backing, Parvati Ammal, he knew that he had the confidence to go out and do that because he knew that his grandmother would help to look after his younger siblings. My ancestor came down, Sanguthevar. He came in the mid-1850s with his wife. When they came here, they had nothing. Yeah, they were coming out to new pastures to set up a new life. I'm sure it was very hard at that time, and it must have taken them quite a while before they started, doing something. But I tell you that that spirit of courage and tenacity and that entrepreneurial spirit, I believe that all underscored his ability to set up a business, having a fleet of horse and carriages. And he was very successful, in doing that. And they established a family here with their children and lived a very good life. I believe he died quite early. Sanguthevar was survived by his wife, Valliammal, and she became the matriarch of the family. She looked after the family, and she was the focal point for her children and her grandchildren as well. And she died here in Singapore. I am very proud of my heritage. I'm fascinated by my heritage, to be honest. I know that sounds a little bit boastful, but it is fascinating. And I am so proud of the fact that my ancestors have come out here and made a life for themselves here, did not run back to India. They made a go of it. And that tenacity, that courage, that entrepreneurial spirit is something, these are traits I think that I have imbibed to some extent, but certainly I want to make sure that my kids also have that and their kids after that, because the world, it keeps changing all the time, right? There's no such no set place, no set agenda. You got to keep moving, you got to be tenacious, and I think my ancestors have taught me how to do that. not through words, but by example, in the way of how they lived, how they conducted their lives. I have a Tamil identity to some extent. My name is Chitra Radhakrishnan. I was born in the Chitra Masam, the month of Chitra. So I think my parents named me after that. We celebrate some festivals, of course, like Pongal and Puttandu, New Year, Vinayaka Chaturthi. Of course, the highlight of the year is Deepavali, right? But I would say that in some ways, because we live in Singapore, there's many other influences as well. In a way, Deepavali is the highlight for us every year. And my family celebrates it with an open house. And we invite tons of people, all our friends and family. We have people from all walks of life, different races, religions. I do speak Tamil. I speak Tamil to my mom, not all the time, but sometimes. I scold my children in Tamil because it's the most efficient, effective way, and they completely understand what I have to say. They have no doubts about what I'm scolding them about. So I think it's a very good language for that as well. I'm proud of my heritage. I listen to Tamil songs as well. I watch some movies, not all the time, but mostly when I, sitting with my mom and, chilling out with her, then I will do that.
How is it to be a Tamil in Singapore?
Well, I think we are very proud of our ancestry and heritage. I think it's great that Tamil is an official language here. We get that recognition. When I travel, I was in Mauritius recently, for example, and there also they have this multicultural heritage. And they were fascinated to see that our note had Tamil, or printed there. And similarly, they also have it as well. When I go to India, folks who are Tamil origin, they always tell me, we're very proud of the fact that Tamil is an official language in your country.